Okay, we're going to go live, and we put out a podcast, a few minutes ago talking about Lane Kiffin going to LSU, but he still wants to coach Ole Miss in the playoff, and there's a big, I don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen? There's a meeting going on. It may be concluded. I guess he's telling his players that he's taking the LSU job, which is probably not surprising to them as much as the players have heard as well. So we're here with you on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We very much appreciate you tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. The old copy boy, and man, away we go. Teal Shirt Report. Episode show number, I guess we'll have to call this one 78. 70 was the episode earlier that we put in the can. And now we're live. This is a chance for you to get involved. Give us a comment. What do you think about Lane Kiffin going to LSU? It's official. What do you think about Lane Kiffin? He wants to coach in the playoff, but maybe Ole Miss wants him out of there. And John Gaylor sent us some stuff, our correspondent and contributor. To Kiffin, I guess he's threatening to take his whole staff to LSU and make Ole Miss scramble for the playoff. So we got a couple of people in here already. Please give me your comments about this whole mess with Lane Kiffin. LSU's hired him. Florida got out of the LSU sweep, out of the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes, or maybe Lane Kiffin told him no a few days back because it looked like it got down to kind of a two-horse deal, particularly after the Egg Bowl. All of a sudden you've got Lane Kiffin couldn't make his mind up right after the Egg Bowl, and it was either going to be LSU or Ole Miss. Florida's hiring a new head football coach. We believe John Summerall from Tulane will most likely be the new UF Gator head coach. That's the most likely thing that will happen. You can always go to our website at bigjreport.com. We write about a good many of these things. SEC championship game's been decided. Now Georgia will play Alabama. It was actually a four-way tie in the SEC when you just look at the conference records. We had 4 teams 7-1. Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M all finished conference play with records of 7-1. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We're brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. There's links for Saucer Realty and Capital on our homepage. Also, the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. And Max has a great Wednesday night request show on Wednesday nights at the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. And then the next night, Thursday nights, JC live from the pub. Lane Kiffin going to LSU, but I think he wants to coach the playoff at Ole Miss. Man, you just can't have it all, right? Maybe Lane wants to have it all. What's your opinion? Give us your comments right here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We put an episode in the can a few minutes ago, episode show number 70. This is actually going to be episode show number 78, and this is a live stream, so you're welcome to comment. As we go along here, doing the live stream. Jaguars play up in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans. Jags are 7-4. Tennessee Titans are, abysmal 1-10. But in the NFL, man, they can jump up and they can bite you like a snake. And we know about the Jags over the years, about a lot of agonizing losses, some agonizing victories. The Jaguars about a 6-point favorite over the Titans up in Nashville. Our source kind of likes the Jaguars winning, but only by 3 or 4 points if you're talking the point spread. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. It looks like Florida is going to hire a new head coach. We believe John Summerall from Tulane will most likely be the new UF Gator head coach. That seems to be the most likely thing that will happen. UF got out of the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes, or maybe Lane Kiffin told them no a few days ago. There's a big group of the Florida fan base that thinks that an ultimatum was given to Kiffin by Strickland, or given to his, Kiffin's people. Hey, we Maybe they set a deadline. Maybe the Gators set a deadline and said, hey, you got to let us know by such and such day. Kiffin didn't. I think Kiffin might not have ever told the Gators no. That's what we're hearing. We're hearing all that and more. Leave us your comments. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We discuss the Florida Gators, the SEC, Jacksonville Jaguars, and North Florida Entertainment. The Jacksonville Icemen have fallen to 9-8 in the East Coast Hockey League. And Lane Kiffin, but oh boy, is heading to LSU, getting over $90 million. I think one of the most interesting things about all this was several weeks ago, and these are guys I respect a whole lot, like Buddy Martin with Gator Bait. There was talk that Florida had $87 million put to the side for Lane Kiffin. But all of a sudden, LSU comes up with $90 million. There's going to be stories within the story. There's no doubt about that. I'm getting all kinds of messages in. We want to thank our executive producer, JC. Also, Alex Nunnery, another producer. Alex was a big Kiffin guy, wanting Kiffin. And a lot of Gator fans were. And a lot of Gator fans are upset that Kiffin is not coming to UF. He's going to LSU. You got the Ole Miss fans all, they've had the best season they've ever had at Ole Miss. I don't think Ole Miss has ever won 11 games in a regular season before. Ole Miss is absolutely 11-1. Can you believe that? Vanderbilt has won 10 games, and John Gaylor and I were talking about it. And I said, John, has Vanderbilt ever won 10 games before? And he mentioned something about Jay Cutler. I said, no, I don't think Cutler ever won 10 games, but we found that Cutler had won as many as 9. But for the first time ever, Vanderbilt wins 10 games, and their coach is going to stay at Vanderbilt. And I like that. I'm glad to see that. He's a former fullback. His alma mater is Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt, there's a lot of guys that went to Vanderbilt. I mean, they got some money at that school, and now college football's changed. It's a new era. It's about the money, the collectives, NIL, the transfer portal. My goodness, I'm not as big a fan of it as a lot of people. The new era of college football, I kind of prefer the old days, but now these are the new days. And it looks like Florida is going to be hiring a new head football coach. They're going to be hiring a new head football coach, and we believe the way things are all stacking up, we believe it's going to be John Summerall from Tulane. He also coached at Troy. It looks like John Summerall from Tulane will most likely be the new UF Gator head coach. This is the most likely thing that we believe will be happening. So give us your comments. What do you think about this whole Lane Kiffin deal? It's been an absolute circus. I believe it's been an absolute circus. Not everybody was on board with the Lane train at UF. Some were not. My impression of Lane Kiffin is this. He did win a lot of football games. He won a lot of games at FAU when he was down there, too. He coached at Tennessee several years ago for 1 year and left. Coached in the NFL with the Raiders for maybe 1 year and got fired. The guy's been everywhere. He's got a lot of experience, but as far as Ole Miss goes, he's been there for, I believe, what is this, his 5th or 6th season? I believe sixth season. Over the last 5 or 6 years, Kiffin has won a lot of games at Ole Miss, but most years I've seen his teams kind of run out of gas at the end. And man, if they're ever going to ultimately run out of gas this year, it could be now with Kiffin taking the LSU job. There's a lot of people saying, man, these coaches should get the new jobs after the season is over, after it's completely over, because now you got this college football playoffs. You got a controversy out there with, there was also some talk that if Kiffin leaves and he doesn't coach in the playoff, all of a sudden, do the people that run the college football, not the pool, but the poll, and particularly the playoff bracket themselves, could this mean Ole Miss, because they don't have Lane Kiffin, that they maybe get a lower seed? Which should not happen. Players should not be penalized because a coach leaves. but the coach is a big part, certainly, of why they got there. Kiffin seemed to do a good job with putting a roster together here in the new era of college football. You got comments about this? Hey, let us know. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast, and please subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we can go live at any time. And if you want the newest, you want the latest and newest content, you'll always get it by subscribing to our channel. Our channel is the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. So we love talking football. I was at a barbecue place yesterday. Probably my three favorite things in life are watching football, eating barbecue, and talking about football. And I did have some nice barbecue down at a local barbecue establishment not too far from World Headquarters. I'm configuratively, physically located in Jacksonville, Florida. And we're talking college football. Looks like the Gators are getting a new coach. Florida's going to be hiring a new coach. We believe John Summerall now. It's kind of shaken down that John Summerall from Tulane will most likely be the new UF Gator head football coach from Tulane. And he coached some at Troy Trojans up in Alabama. And now he's at Tulane. And I watched some of his videos last night, John Summerall. And it was a press conference he was at. And, one of the writers or one of the media people participating in the press conference asked him a question. And Summerall said, well, I noticed that so-and-so's not here. A couple of the people that normally are at the press conferences were not there. He said they're probably at the LSU game. And he said that kind of tongue-in-cheek, but there was also a little bit of a serious overtone to that. So that tells me this might be the guy that does not necessarily care for LSU. And you get him on your sidelines at Florida, and it may not be a bad thing at all. Well, so give us your comments right here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. SEC's finished. I mean, I guess if you're the Southeastern Conference and the people that run the SEC, you got to think, man, this was a great year. You got a four-way tie for first place with Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Due to the tiebreakers, the highest rankings, and what have you, whatever the tiebreakers are. There's a bunch of tiebreakers because John Gaylor sent me the tie-breaking list. And man, it's like 2 or 3 paragraphs of tiebreakers. Georgia and Alabama will be in the SEC championship game on Saturday, December the 6th. It kicks off at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're going to have a championship week. ACC is a championship game. I think Ohio State's playing Indiana in the Big Ten title game. Boy, was there a lot of snow or what in some of the Big Ten games. Now, I could get the Big Ten games on regular TV. Get a lot of them. I have to scramble to find some of the other games. But I will tell you this, Florida got a big win over Florida State. So if you were ever going to say, hey, let's hire the new coach today, the Florida Gator fans are in a better mood. Because, and I'm a Gator fan too, but the Florida Gators are in a much better mood now after beating their rival, Florida 40 and FSU 21. By the way, the running back Baugh had over 200 yards rushing, and he was a bright spot in 2025 because that pushed him over 1,000 yards for the season. So how many teams from the SEC will make the playoff? The playoff is now 12 teams. I asked Gaylor the question, our correspondent, our contributor and correspondent of BigJReport.com and the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Gaylor seemed to say 5. And if it's 5, it's probably Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and one more. Maybe Vandy. Vanderbilt and Oklahoma are both 10-2 overall and 6-2 in the SEC. Texas is 6-2 in the SEC, but 9-3 overall. You might remember Florida beat Texas earlier in the season. Texas lost the game. What was it? It was at Ohio State, first game of the season, I believe. Alabama lost to Florida State the first game of the season. And some of these very early games now, the season looks a lot different now than it did back then. So give us your comments, subscribe to the channel. Again, Florida's hiring a new head football coach, and again, we believe, based on what we're hearing, it's going to be John Sumrall. On this very podcast over the last several episodes, we've said it looks like John Sumrall is going to Auburn. After Florida got out of the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes, whether Lane said no or Florida said, hey, here, you're going to let us know, Lane, something by such and such day, and he didn't, and Florida decided to go in another direction, all of a sudden it started coming back to John Sumrall, the coach at Louisville, and maybe a couple other guys. Jed Fish's name was mentioned, but Jed Fish, I really liked him for the Florida job maybe over a year ago, but now his record, I think he's like under 500, like 31-32. So I'm not sure you can hire Jed Fish and completely justify it to the entire fan base of Florida. John Sumrall, on the other hand, I was told by John Gaylor, and then I saw it in some other reports that he's 41-11 in his time as a head coach at Troy and now at Tulane. And this is all very interesting. We're talking college football, NFL pro football. Please leave us a comment. Subscribe to the channel. We would love that. I play a little bit of fantasy football, and we do have a Teal Shirt Report podcast fantasy football league. I was 3-6 in the league, and now I've won 3 games absolutely in a row. I got a chance to win today too. So we're trying to what do they say? Run the table. When I was 3-6, I said, man, if I'm going to win the fantasy football league, I'm going to have to run the table because it's just a 14-game regular season, and then the playoffs start. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Mine was kind of quiet. We've been dealing with a lot of football, obviously. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 7-4. They'll play in Nashville against the 1-10 Tennessee Titans. But the biggest thing on our mind has got to be Lane Kiffin, the Florida Gators hiring a new head coach. Lane Kiffin's going to get over $90 million, and he is going to LSU. I think according to Gaylor, I think he's threatening, and a lot of coaches do this, a lot of coaches are going to take their staff, or as many of them as they can, to the new job. But who will Ole Miss have to coach the playoff game? Playoffs, unless they let Brother Kiffin hang around, try to get him a natty. And, there's a lot of greed, a lot of ego with all of this. You've got the NIL money. Players are getting money now. Coaches are getting even more money. What do you guys think about the state of college football in the new era of college football in 2025? Let me know. We've got comments here on the YouTube channel. We're also on audio. We just hit 12,000 listens on our audio platform, and the audio platform usually stays a couple of 3 or more episodes behind YouTube. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you're going to get the most and newest content. What we're doing right now with episode show number 78, this is 78, and we're doing a live stream. We got people popping in and out. Give us your comments, please. We'd love to hear from you today, right here on our YouTube channel, which is called the Teal Shirt Report Podcast from BigJReport.com. We're brought to you by Salsa Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. Also by the Mad Max Mix.weebly.com. And Max texted me yesterday. He says, I think you guys are getting Sumrall. And Max texted me his record, and he said, that's pretty darn good at Tulane. There's been some other good coaches at Tulane as well. Is this, Gator fans, is this what you wanted? You wanted the Tulane coach? Do you like this guy? Or do you just not know? You're hoping for the best. I think when it comes to Florida Gator fans, longtime Florida Gator fans, I think whoever, no matter who the coach is, even if it was, a couple of guys that are just talking Gator football and they get made the head coach, you're still going to root for the team, no matter who the coach is, right? John Sumrall, I did review his videos of some of his press conferences. I was fairly impressed. I didn't have a problem with him. I know he would have to put a staff together. I think he's still got another game coming up with Tulane. They got a game coming up in the next day or two. And, Tulane, you got a coach there that's won a lot of games, and obviously he wants to move up. And Florida would be a definite move up for him. I kept saying on the podcast, it seemed like Summerall, the interest was him going to Auburn. And then Florida got in the mix after they got out of Kiffin, after they got out of the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes. And the next guy, I guess they're thinking Summerall from Tulane. So I think Auburn now is moving in a different direction. And it looks like Florida is going to attempt to hire John Summerall. You guys, have any questions, comments about what's happening with the SEC, Florida Gator football, the new era of college football? Do you like it or do you not like it? These coaching salaries, are they going to kill the game? Or will it make the game better? There's been a lot of talk. I mean, this has been a circus around Lane Kiffin really for several days now. Maybe Kiffin likes that. Maybe he likes the attention. Obviously, he's going to like the money in the bank account because he's going to get over $90 million over time. Brian Kelly, he's still fighting over trying to get his buyout money. What was the buyout money for Brian Kelly? Like $54 million. James Franklin was supposed to get, I think, $49 million from Penn State. And then my executive producer said, well, he's got a job now. And they renegotiated the buyout, and he got like $9 million from Penn State. So maybe these buyouts are negotiable, especially if the guy gets a new job. Billy Napier's supposed to get, I looked at the figures again, he's supposed to get like, I think right at about $21 million or more from Florida for being fired. And he was 22-23 overall at Florida, I believe, 12-16 in SEC games. You go 12-16 in SEC games, you're not going to win a title. And then you take a guy like Lane Kiffin. If Florida hired him, which they're not now, or if LSU hires him like they are, if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU and he doesn't win an SEC title within about 3, 4, 5 years, they're going to want him out of there and he'll be getting a buyout. Do you like the way college football is going? It is an absolute circus. We invite you to go to bigjreport.com. We cover everything from news, sports, more sports, high school football playoff results. High school football playoff results from North Florida, some from South Georgia, Western Georgia, and a little bit of a pocket of Southeast Alabama, Central Florida. Check out the high school football scores on our homepage at bigjreport.com. Please do that. Concerts coming up in the area. We got a Neighbors 2 section where you can take a look at concerts coming up in Jacksonville, North Florida, surrounding areas as well. We appreciate you guys tuning in for our live stream on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. It looks like Florida is probably pretty close to hiring John Summerall. The word could come down on that today or tomorrow if Summerall is the guy, which we think at this point he is. Lane Kiffin's going to LSU, and ESPN came out with something much earlier today saying that Lane Kiffin is going to accept the job. Then we got that message from John Gaylor that said if Kiffin's not allowed to coach the playoff, he'll just take his whole staff to LSU and leave Ole Miss with nothing, with a bare cupboard. And man, this is just taking a different leap altogether, taking college football in a whole new direction. Do you like the direction? Quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of what's happening in college football with the new era. That is just my opinion. That is, totally my opinion. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the way to Tennessee. They're already there. They're in Nashville for a game with the Titans. And I can, certainly I can check the line. Last time I checked it, I believe was, what was that? Yesterday, I believe. I'll check it again today. We'll check the line on that particular football game. Jaguars playing the Titans. It was 6 points last time I checked. Now, sometimes it gets to be a little bit of money going in one direction or the other, and the lines will change on the game, which, is being scheduled for today. You can probably hear me typing here. Sunday. Today is November 30th. of 2025. We appreciate you guys staying tuned in. I think we'll check in with our source, try to get an update on the point spread on the Jags-Titans game. Titans are 1-10. And you would think they shouldn't even be in the ballpark with the Jaguars. Jaguars are 7-4. But man, the Jaguars have gone to Nashville in the past, no matter what the records are. And they've come back very, very disappointed. The line, I don't mean to laugh, but the line has dropped. Jaguars are 7-4. The Titans are 1-10. Game will kick off today on Sunday, November the 30th of 2025. 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. The point spread has dropped from 6 points to 5.5 points. There's been some money on Tennessee, apparently. Our source likes Jacksonville to win. Tennessee will cover. And the total will go over. That's what our sources say. You're tuned in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I probably should... let's see. Then I got questions coming up in one of the chat groups. Who's going to be the OC? Maybe I should throw something in the chat. Kerwin Bell. He'd make a good OC at Florida, wouldn't he? You could get him. Yeah, it looks like I'm seeing some more stuff right now about John Summerall. And breaking, Florida is finalizing a 6-year deal. And this should be straight up the truth. Here, this comes from WRUF, home of the Gators. They've got a little bit of a post out there. And let's see, breaking, Florida is finalizing a 6-year deal to make Tulane's John Summerall the next head coach of the Florida Gators. And the contract is going to average nearly $7.5 million per year with significant incentives. I like that. So it's not as big a contract as Lane Kiffin would get, but it's got some incentives, and I would much prefer a college football coach to get hired and then kind of make his own salary as he goes on with incentives. It's looking like, according to WRUF, home of the Gators, and it looks like John Summerall is the guy. When the official announcement comes down, I'm not sure this is the official announcement, but they're saying breaking, Florida's finalizing a 6-year deal to make Tulane's John Summerall the next head football coach of the Florida Gators. And the contract with Summerall looks like the contract may average nearly $7.5 million per year with significant incentives tied to the college football playoff. Everybody's concerned about the playoff. Now, Summerall is now, I thought he was 41-11. He must have won another game. Summerall 42-11 in 4 seasons as a head coach at Troy and then Tulane. So that is the very latest on Summerall. Not everybody wanted Lane Kiffin. Some did. Some of the fan base, they wanted Lane Kiffin badly, while others did not. I told John Gaylor I was going to mention him in the podcast. He's our contributor correspondent. I want to thank our executive producer, JC. Also, Alex Nunnery, a big Kiffin guy. But Kiffin is going to go to LSU. Kiffin's going to LSU. And then I got this message from Gaylor much earlier this morning. Kiffin is threatening to take his staff with him to LSU before the playoff and leave Ole Miss scrambling to fill things out if he's not allowed to continue coaching. So in a perfect world, you would think, well, Kiffin goes to LSU, does not coach in the playoff, and then there's a couple of, key assistants that are left to be the interim coach or whatever Ole Miss can do at that point. I've also heard things lately that Ole Miss, their seeding could drop a position or two because Kiffin is taking the LSU job and not coaching in the playoff. So what do you think should happen? A guy with Gator Nation said, Kurt Harrell, says, I still say you have dodged a bullet. I have never been on the Lane train. Not everybody is. This dude has always been a crybaby, throwing his little tantrums. This is what you get on social media. And I mean, what has he really done? Okay, so if I wanted to say what Lane Kiffin has done, he's won a lot of football games. There's no doubt. However, over the last 5-6 years that he's been at Ole Miss, I'm going to say this, at least 3 out of those years or more, Lane Kiffin's teams have run out of gas toward the end of the year at Ole Miss. That's my opinion. That's what I've seen. Going into this year in 2025, in defense of Lane Kiffin, this might have been his best coaching job ever, because going into 2025, a lot of people said, Ole Miss lost a significant amount of players last year, and they were not predicted to do as well as they've done. They did win they did go 11-1. Ole Miss has never won 11 games in a regular season before. They finished in a 4-way tie for first place in the SEC. Georgia 7-1, Alabama 7-1, Ole Miss 7-1. These are conference records, and Texas A&M 7-1. The tiebreaker came down to now Georgia will play Alabama on Saturday, December the 6th, kickoff at 4:00 p.m. in the SEC championship game. I would work the playoff a lot differently than the folks that own college football now would, but I can go into those details, or the best thing for me to do is just to talk about what's really going on now. We got some of you guys in here. Please subscribe to the channel. You'll get the new content all the time when we come on here. We also have an audio podcast. The YouTube channel is called the Teal Shirt Report Podcast from BigJReport.com. Florida, the more I'm hearing, the more it's becoming just about 100% that John Summerall from Tulane will most likely be the new UF Gator head football coach. He must have just won a game, because his record was 41-11, and now he's 42-11. Again, John Summerall from Tulane, the head coach at Tulane, will most likely be the new UF Gator head football coach. Most likely, this is what's going to happen. And we just, we read some information about speculation on what the contract is going to be like. It's going to be a big investment in Summerall, but not as big as Lane Kiffin. And there are incentives in the deal, apparently. There's going to be incentives in Lane Kiffin's deal. No matter, no telling how much money he could make. There's no telling how much money Kiffin could make at LSU. Can you imagine if Kiffin all of a sudden said, I'm staying at Ole Miss. I'm going to stay at Ole Miss forever. Get a forever deal at Ole Miss. And Ole Miss was kind of talking like, hey, we'll match any deal. But it ain't going to happen. I saw a note on YouTube. It looked like Paul Feinbaum. I call him Barney 5, a.k.a. Paul Feinbaum. It said something about Feinbaum believes LSU will contend for a national championship next year. And that's his opinion. Kiffin does a good job with the rosters. I mean, he really does. He does a good job with the rosters. We're getting a lot of calls here at World Headquarters at BigJReport.com. I had to kind of silence the phone there. But, yeah, we got a lot of calls coming through. I'm at World Headquarters. My name's Scott. I'm the host for your Teal Shirt Report podcast. We appreciate you coming in. Leave us a comment, concern. What do you think about the new era of college football in 2025? Do you like it? Is it too much drama? Too much greed and money? Which would kind of be almost my thinking. But we've kind of got to the root of a lot of things now. Lane Kiffin is going to LSU. He's mad if he can't coach in the playoff. He's gotten mad. He's going to pull all his coaches out of Ole Miss and take them to LSU. Maybe he's going to take some players too. There is a thing called the transfer portal now in the new era of college football in 2025. Isn't that right? It looks like it's almost 100%. We believe John Summerall from Tulane will most likely be the new UF Gator head football coach. It's the most likely thing that will happen. He's got a 42-11 record over the last 5 years or so of coaching. He's been the head coach at Tulane and also coached at Troy up in Alabama. Auburn wanted him. And then Florida got out of the Kiffin sweepstakes, and they said, man, we got to go in another direction. And now they got very interested in John Summerall. And now he looks like he's going to be the hire. Jacksonville Jaguars in Nashville. The Point spread has dropped from 6 to 5.5 now, right before kickoff. Kickoff's in about an hour, a little over an hour, about an hour and 25 minutes, I think. Be a lot of NFL games today. There were a lot on Thanksgiving Day. Some really good football games too, right? Dallas, I believe, won their game. The Chicago Bears, I know an Eagles fan, Big Bill. Big Bill told me that, man, the Eagles are going to beat the Bears. It didn't happen that way. The Bears have surprised a lot of people. They started out 0-2, and now they're 9-3. Jackson, and they got Ben Johnson, who might have been the number one guy on the Jags list, but the Jags hired Liam Cohen, who they're very happy with Liam Cohen, apparently. The Jacksonville Jaguars now 7-4 on the season. The point spread has dropped from 6 to 5.5. The Jaguars are 5.5 point favorite over the Tennessee Titans. Kickoff at 1 o'clock in Nashville. We appreciate you guys tuning in. What do you think about Kiffin? Hey, can you describe Kiffin in one word for me, or 2 or 3 words? Leave your opinion of Lane Kiffin in the comments. What do you think about the Florida Gators hiring John Sumrall? It looks like that's almost really 100% now that that's coming down and is going to happen. Where will Auburn move next for their head coach? That'll be interesting to look at. Some interesting ththings also have happened. Vanderbilt, they've won 10 games this year, I think for the first time in their history, 10-2. Vandy finished 6-2 in conference games. Great season. And their head coach, what's his name? Charlie Lee, played fullback at Vanderbilt probably about 20 years ago. So he's coaching his alma mater, and now they've given him a new contract extension at Vandy, and he's going to be there. And I like that. I think that is very good for college football. You know, over the past several episodes, I've talked about, man, who would I want to be the coach at Florida? The first guy that popped into my mind was Kerwin Bell. He's won everywhere he's been. JU, Valdosta State, where he won a national championship. And Western Carolina, in my mind, has never won before, and he's winning at Western Carolina. They had a 7-5 record this year. But this is the choice. John Sumrall has a great record. He's been at Tulane. Mad Max said, hey, that's pretty good at Tulane, when he told me what his record was at Tulane. And it's a topsy-turvy world of college football. I mean, Texas beats Texas A&M, knocks them out of the SEC championship game. And just a few weeks ago, Florida, when Billy Napier was still coaching, Florida beat Texas. And then Tennessee blows out Florida. And then Vanderbilt turns around and beats Tennessee. Vanderbilt 45, Tennessee 24. In our sports section at BigJReport.com, you can scroll down. We've got some of the latest in college football news. We got news, sports, more sports, even North Florida weather up there as well. So we appreciate you guys tuning into the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I think we might have a comment coming through. Oh, yeah, Mr. Chris. I want to keep Chris James, and he's put a comment up there saying good morning to me. I want to say a special good morning to Chris, and also we want to keep Chris in our thoughts and prayers. He's been going through some medical struggles. Chris, you're definitely in our thoughts and prayers today. Florida Gators look like they're hiring John Sumrall. Please leave your comments. Are you happy with this choice? Or, I think most Gator fans are it's kind of like a little bit of the unknown. The guys had a great record. Billy Napier had a great record at Louisiana, right? They're both coming out of colleges from the same state. Man, so we'll see what happens. So it's kind of like wait and see. But the real Florida Gator fans, they're going to root for whoever the head coach is. And now it does appear that it's John Sumrall who will, it looks like it's pretty close to 100% now, John Sumrall from Tulane, unless the creek rises. It looks like John Sumrall from Tulane will most likely be the new UF Gator head football coach. That's the most likely thing that will happen at this juncture. Your opinion on college football in 2025, do you like it? Do you think there's too much greed in it? The networks, ESPN, and some of the others, they kind of own it and run it. And, the fact that Lane Kiffin is taking over $90 million to go to LSU It just, you know what it means? With a thumbs up, it means the other coaches are going to get more and more. Give me more, more money. And we're talking about the quiet money. We're not talking about coins that you can drop in a glass. We're talking about the quiet money that's deposited, big deposits in bank accounts like Lane Kiffin's bank account. My gosh. And Lane Kiffin, no, he's never won a national championship. Kerwin Bell won one at Valdosta State. Let me throw that out there. But Kiffin's won a lot of games. It seems like his teams have run out of gas at the end of the year. You know, Kiffin's been at Ole Miss for 5 or 6 years now, but most years it looks like they kind of run out of gas toward the end of the season. But this, my friends, is probably Kiffin's best year. He went 11-1 at Ole Miss. They're going to be in the playoff. But now Kiffin, as of today, apparently he's taking the LSU job. And I think the Ole Miss people are going to want him out of there. Go to LSU. You didn't take our offer. You didn't stay. No, you know, you're not going to coach in the playoff. And then Kiffin says, well, I'll just take all the assistant coaches out of here and take them to LSU. It is a mess and a circus. It quite frankly is. My goodness. And a lot of people are mad with Scott Strickland, the athletic director, saying he botched the hire of Lane Kiffin. Man, it looks like he was dealing with a whole lot, too. But Florida didn't get Kiffin. A big portion of the fan base at Florida wanted Kiffin. There's other choices, too. We've had a lot of people coming here on this live stream. We appreciate it. Chris James is writing to us. I was surprised that the Gators beat the Seminoles by that much. And Chris, man, the comment I got from most Gator fans was, man, I'm going to sleep good tonight. I'm going to sleep really, really good tonight. My dad was watching it up in heaven, I think. My dad passed away about 4 years ago. So they did win by a whole bunch of points, Chris. 40-21, Florida beat Florida State. It surprised me, too. Bob, the running back at Florida, got over 200 yards rushing, and he was a bright spot on the season. I've liked him ever since he's gotten to Florida. I think this is like his second year at Florida. And, man, Bob got over 1,000 yards rushing at UF for the Florida Gators this year. He was a bright spot in really a difficult season where Florida finished 4-8 overall. And we're talking about all these teams that did good in the SEC. Florida had a down year. 2-6 in conference play. What if you're Arkansas? Arkansas 0-8 in SEC conference play, but you got 4 teams tied for the lead in the SEC. You got Georgia 7-1, Alabama 7-1, Ole Miss 7-1, and Texas A&M 7-1. When all the tiebreakers came down, the only loss Ole Miss had all year was to Georgia back in October. Lane Kiffin did lose to Georgia back in October. Heck, Florida had a lead over Ole Miss during some of that game that they were playing in Oxford. So is Lane Kiffin the answer to LSU? Well, Paul Baum says they're going to contend for a national championship at LSU with Coach Lane Kiffin next year. I saw a comment in something, and everybody's got their opinion. There's a lot of talking heads out there, and I'm not particularly fond of all the talking heads at the network where, quote unquote, they own college football. It's not always my thing, but I love to talk to the people. I followed college football and the Florida Gators for a long time, since the early 1970s. And now it looks like we're going to see a new coach come to the University of Florida. And we believe it's pretty close to 100% now. We believe John Sumrall from Tulane will now most likely be the new UF Gator head football coach. Most likely thing that will happen now. There was talk he may go to Auburn a few days ago, but now it all changed. When Florida got out of the Kiffin sweepstakes, whether Lane Kiffin said no to Florida or Strickland gave him an ultimatum, said we got to have an answer by such and such day, whatever happened, Florida had made a change in direction. They got out of trying to hire Lane Kiffin, and now it appears they're going to hire John Sumrall from Tulane. Had a lot of people coming here on the live stream. Man, we appreciate that. Please, if you would, if you do nothing else for me, subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Maybe even hit the like button if you liked our live stream today. And give us a comment. What do you think about the state of college football in 2025? What do you think about Lane Kiffin going to LSU? What do you think about these power plays? Lane says, I'll just take all my assistant coaches from Ole Miss and take them to LSU and just leave you holding the bag here at Ole Miss. Is he saying that? I think Gaylor kind of inferred that with a message he sent to me. I always enjoy talking to John Gaylor, contributor and correspondent to BigJReport.com and the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I want to thank our executive producer, JC, also Alex Nunnery. You can follow us anytime 24/7 at BigJReport.com, BigJReport.com, BigJReport.com. We even have a concert listing for concerts in and around North Florida and surrounding areas in the Neighbors 2 section at BigJReport.com. We got a sports section in there. We take a look at local news, sports, and more sports, weather information for North Florida as well. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Saucerality and Capital, the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. Mad Max is a great show on Wednesday nights, and JC the next night on Thursday nights. JC is at LakeEufaulaHits.com with Live from the Pub with JC. You said you were going to get Gordon Lightfoot and Sundown on for me, so let's see if you can do that this week, Mr. Host. JC is a great show. Live from the Pub with JC on Thursday nights, starting at 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time at LakeEufaulaHits.com. Now, the great thing about these shows is internet radio shows like Lake Eufaula Hits, the MadMaxMix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights with Mad Max. And Mad Max is a football fan, too, like JC is. Mad Max is like a Georgia Bulldog fan. JC's an Alabama fan. I'm a Florida Gator fan. The conference I followed since I was a little boy, the Southeastern Conference, I followed since the early 1970s. When John Reeves was a quarterback there, and Carlos Alvarez, number 45, was a wide receiver. Tommy Durrance, number 33, the running back, who sadly passed away probably close to 20 years ago. John Reeves passed away, I believe, in 2017. Carlos Alvarez is still with us, number 45. Lives in Tallahassee, I believe. And I believe he's a lawyer, if he's still practicing, or he may be retired now. But Carlos, nice guy, Facebook friend of mine as well. So we appreciate you guys. We got another comment coming in. Good hire. Wow. Okay, JS. Oh, this guy likes JS. That'd be John Summerall. So we got a message from John Lynch. Good hire on JS, John Summerall. I'm a big fan, Ole Miss fan. Really wanted him. I'm assuming at Ole Miss. Okay. So, John, if you're still watching with us, where do you think Ole Miss goes now for the head coach? I mean, I haven't really heard many rumors on Ole Miss because we kept hearing that, the Lane train may stay at Ole Miss or go to LSU or even come to Florida. We've been hearing that for, weeks. It's been a circus. But that's a nice comment from John Lynch. Good hire on JS, John Summerall. John Lynch said, I'm a big fan of Ole Miss, and that's cool. I mean, you guys have had a great season, 11-1. I don't think Ole Miss has ever won 11 games in a regular season before. That is a fantastic year. I know Ole Miss had some great teams back before, I think even before I was born, like in the early 60s and 50s. Who was the coach? What was the guy's name? John Bott. In Tulane, where John Summerall apparently is leaving to become a Florida Gator head coach, Tulane used to be in the SEC years and years ago. Georgia Tech was in the SEC, and then Georgia Tech became an independent. Tulane, I believe, became an independent. Now they're in conferences. And it's good football. The conference Tulane's in, not as, obviously not as big time as the SEC. And you got Georgia Tech in the ACC. Georgia Tech's had a great season. They did lose to Georgia 16-9. Big win for Georgia. Now Georgia will play Alabama in the SEC title game on Saturday, December the 6th. Kickoff for that game is 4 o'clock. So you guys, I appreciate all the comments. If you subscribe to the channel, it makes me happy. Put a smile on my face. and give us a like and a comment. We do appreciate that very much. Florida hiring John Summerall, it looks like, from Tulane. John Lynch, an Ole Miss fan, said, man, they were kind of wanting him at Ole Miss since Lane was leaving. Lane doesn't want to leave yet. He wants to coach in the playoff, right? Playoffs? And, you know, what's LSU's opinion on that? LSU, probably, we're going to hire you, Lane. We're going to pay you. You're going to pay Lane over $90 million. I think you got to, I think LSU's your boss now, Lane Kiffin. And you want to take all the assistants out of Ole Miss. I mean, you're being paid by Ole Miss right now, right? But Lane's going to take them all with him. He's going to take a few with him. Will he take players too? This is really kind of getting crazy. LSU's hiring Lane Kiffin. I believe it's going to be announced today officially at some point in time if it's not already been announced. I think a guy with ESPN several hours ago said he expects Lane Kiffin to be announced as the new LSU head coach. There's stuff coming out on Florida hiring John Summerall from Tulane now. Who will Auburn hire? Because a few days ago we were talking about John Summerall going to Auburn. So who will Auburn hire? Ole Miss will have to hire somebody. And the SEC and college football just so topsy-turvy. We've been going at it here for 51 minutes. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. Talking college football. The Jacksonville Jaguars playing up in Nashville against Tennessee. The point spread's changing. It was 6 a couple of days ago, or a day or two ago. Now it's down to 5.5. Right before kickoff. Our source still likes the Jaguars to probably win by 3 or 4 points, but for Tennessee to cover that spread and the point total to perhaps go over. That's what our source says. But nobody follows the spreads, do they? Wink, wink. So this has been a lot of fun talking with you today. Let's hope the Jaguars can win their 8th game. Let's hope Summerall is the right coach for UF. And the fan base, you know, there's a lot of this stuff. Oh, Scott Strickland's got to be fired. He did hire Todd Golden, the basketball coach who won a national championship. Billy Napier apparently wasn't the best hire, going 22-23 and 16 and what was Billy Napier? 12-16 in SEC games, 22-23 overall. So Billy Napier got fired after 3.5 years. He's been on the hot seat off and on the last couple of years. The fans wanted him out, so now you got him out. You didn't get Kiffin. There was a big portion of the fan base at Florida that wanted Lane Kiffin. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Chris James wrote back to us, Pierce Kiffin is all about the money. Man, is that an understatement or what? Chris, that's true. That's true. But I think Kiffin wants to win a national championship, so now he's taking that big money at LSU, and they're not going to let him coach at Ole Miss. I think he wants to coach at Ole Miss through the playoff anyway. Man, it's an ego thing, Chris. It's ego. It's great. It's the new era that we're in of college football in 2025. Check us out at BigJReport.com. And Chris, I was telling you about some of the concerts coming to Jacksonville, St. Augustine, North Florida, surrounding areas. We've got a concert listing in our Neighbors 2 section at BigJReport.com. Scroll, but you have to do a lot of scrolling to get to the current listings. There's a lot of stuff up on the website at BigJReport.com. And there's links to the internet radio shows I've told you about, the MadMaxMix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights, 6 o'clock Central Time. Max is on from 6 o'clock a.m. Central Time till 8 o'clock p.m. Central, 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday nights with the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. Max will play Steely Dan for me, the Atlanta Rhythm section. Man, what else is Max playing? Man, he plays John Lennon, George Harrison, Allman Brothers. Check out the MadMaxMix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights. There's links up on our website at BigJReport.com for Mad Max's show, the MadMaxMix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights. And then the very next night, you got JC. That's right, you got JC and live from the pub. On Thursday nights, JC, 2 heads are better than one. I'll be listening. I'll be expecting Gordon Lightfoot, the late Gordon Lightfoot, in a song that I really like called Sundown. on Lake Eufaula Hits with JC. You go to our website, you'll find all the links for these shows. You'll find a link for Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. Check out Saucer Realty and Capital, whether it's home, residential, business, or commercial real estate. Remember, Saucer Realty and Capital. Gators getting a new coach. Going to be, apparently it's pretty close to 100%. John Sumrall from Tulane will most likely be the new UF Gator head football coach. This will be the most likely thing that will happen. On the live stream, we're getting a few more people in. We appreciate that. We really do. Heard from John Lynch, Ole Miss fan. It was good to hear from an Ole Miss fan. We kind of hate to see what they're going through. I mean, but you know, in one way, we're not happy with what they're going through. But they still had a great season, 11-1. They're going to be in the playoff. It would be criminal if the people that run college football in the playoffs say, "Well, we can't seed them as high. Lane Kiffin is gone. We got to seed them a seed or two lower." That would be just ridiculous and shameful. The new era of college football in 2025. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think there's too much grade in it? What is your opinion about college football? The Florida Gators new hire. What Lane Kiffin is doing to college football? He's going to put a lot of money in his pocket going to LSU, making over $90 million. I do know there was some people I was listening to several weeks ago that were doing, stuff on Facebook Live and talking about how the Gators had $87 million to the side for Lane Kiffin, and then LSU comes up with $90 million. It's a new era we're in college football. Jags will kick off up in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans at 1 o'clock today. This has been a blast doing this live stream with you. Been a blast doing the live stream. I'm Scott, your host for the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Alabama. How about Alabama? They beat Auburn 27-20. And they won the Iron Bowl. And Alabama got off to a good start in that game. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking at the score. It's Alabama 20, Auburn 20, fourth quarter. Alabama scored to go up 27-20. And what I kept hearing from Gaylor and a few other people, Auburn had a chance at the end. At the very end. It was a great Iron Bowl. The Egg Bowl was won by Ole Miss. They cracked the eggs against Mississippi State. And, Mike Leach beat Lane Kiffin, what was it, about 2 or 3 years ago, right before he passed away. I think Mike Leach passed away just a few days after the Egg Bowl. And Mississippi State and Coach Mike Leach beat Lane Kiffin. What was it, about 2 or 3 years ago? That's what happened. I liked Mike Leach. I really did. He kind of got sick, I think, the last year he was coaching. He was coughing a lot in the press conferences. And sadly, he passed away just a few days, like a week or two after the old Egg Bowl, right? He didn't get to coach in the bowl game, but he got to coach in the old Egg Bowl. And they probably should change the name of it to the Mike Leach Memorial Egg Bowl. His last game he ever coached, he beat Lane Kiffin. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Live stream, man, it's been a lot of fun. I can hang around a little while longer. I mean, we seem like we get more and more people in here on the live stream. We appreciate the comments. Now, the cool thing about the live stream is even after we finish, it's still going to be up on YouTube where more people can come in and listen to our opinion, whether you like my opinion or not. And everybody that comes in here obviously has their opinion about college football, the Gators, LSU, Georgia, Mad Max, who does the madmaxmix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights. He's a big Georgia Bulldog fan. I'm a Florida Gator fan. I know Chris James, who came in and commented, I know he's a big Florida Gator fan. John Lynch, who made some great comments on here, is an Ole Miss fan. So we got a lot of SEC fans out here. Are you happy with the state of college football? Are you concerned about college football? The money just keeps going up. Will college football kind of destroy itself with all this grade, this money? Will the fans still be there? Thinking about, man, look at all this money this guy's making. The ticket prices are going to go up, right? The cost of the hot dog, the cost of the coach, prices are going to go up and up and up and up. Is that what's going to happen with the state of college football that we're in now? You can't get all the games on TV. Hey, I don't have that network. Pay-per-view. There's going to be more and more college football games, perhaps even going to things like pay-per-view in the future. So, Lane Kiffin taking the LSU job. I appreciate all the comments. Contributor, correspondent John Gaylor, gave me a lot of good comments. And Kiffin just says, hey, I may just take my whole staff to LSU quickly. This may take him. And I sent a message back to Gaylor. I said, yeah, I put that comment up in the podcast. So what's going to happen? The Gators are going to hire the Tulane coach, John Sumrall. Some people are going to like to hire. Some people will not like the hire. And everybody's got an opinion. They really, really do. So we appreciate you guys coming here on the live stream. According to WRUF, home of the Gators, there was a post that went up that said John Sumrall is hired. Breaking, Florida is finalizing a 6-year deal to make John Sumrall the current coach of Tulane. He will become the Florida Gator coach and lead Tulane. He's had a great record. I understand his record at Tulane, and before that with Troy is 42-11. Mad Max texted me what his record was, I think, in the last couple of years at Tulane. And Mad Max said that's a pretty good record at Tulane. So it looks like Florida's got a chance to get a pretty good coach. They're going to pay him handsomely, but not as much as Brother Lane Kiffin's going to get going to LSU. My gosh. Going to wrap up the live stream now, I think. Man, I appreciate all you guys coming in. We had a lot of people coming in and out here. And the cool thing is we're going to put this live stream in the can and more people can watch it. Jaguars kicking off in Nashville at Tennessee. Jaguars now down to their 5.5-point favorite over 1-10 Tennessee. This is a huge game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can they win number 8? The Jacksonville Jaguars are 7-4. And the Tennessee Titans are having just an absolute rotten season. The Tennessee Titans are 1-10. All the stuff we can do, you can follow at BigJReport.com. That's BigJReport.com. And man, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you coming into the live stream. I appreciate all the comments so very, very much here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Our executive producer is JC. Also want to thank Alex Nunnery, John Gaylor, our contributor and correspondent. Special thanks to our sponsors, too. It's also Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida and surrounding areas. Also, the MadMaxMix.weebly.com and their Wednesday night request show at MadMaxMix.weebly.com. JC's live in the pub on Thursday nights at LakeUfallahits.com, and there's links for all these shows and for Salsa Realty and Capital. There's links on our website at BigJReport.com. I'm Scott. I'm your host for the Teal Shirt Report podcast, and on this live stream, hey, I am out. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for being there. Thank you for listening to us. And we've done over an hour of this live stream. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you for watching and listening.